Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca and today we're going to be talking about the costs of cannabis prohibition here in the UK. I've recently come across some independent research and quite frankly I found the data to be incredible. So in this video we will break down the environmental and economic costs in the UK of keeping unlicensed cannabis production and consumption illegal, and let me know in the comments if there's anything else that you think should be on this list. Firstly, let's take a look at the environmental side of things. The planet is in a terrible state and deforestation is yet to be reversed. CO2 levels are too high and biofuel is yet to become a normal fuel source. In a world that is cutting down forests the size of the whole of the UK every year, we need to start making big impact changes. However, cannabis is not just a plant with proven medicinal and therapeutic benefits. The hemp varieties available today are an incredibly versatile natural resource, and with today's technology, an entire house can be built using mostly hemp production. Our neighbours in France currently grow over 44,000 acres of hemp per year, and it's suggested that just a single acre of hemp can provide the same amount of resources as 4 acres of trees. By scaling down France's numbers to account for the smaller landmass of the UK, we could potentially grow over 17,000 acres. And this amount of hemp farming has the potential to save over 48 million trees per year. So, let's imagine we've grown our 17,000 acre fantasy hemp farm here at home. We can now calculate that this scale of hemp alone would remove somewhat in the region of 43,000 tonnes of CO2 from the atmosphere per year. But even more incredible is that by saving this many trees here in the UK, an additional 8.5 million tonnes of CO2 could also be removed naturally by just letting trees do what they're good at. In an effort to reduce the CO2 being released in the first place, we could be creating our own hemp-based biofuel here in the UK. An acre of hemp, or 7.5 tonnes of dried stalk production, could be used to produce 500 gallons of ethanol, over 8.5 million gallons if we did get our 17,000 acres. If we replace the same volume of gasoline with the ethanol from our fantasy hemp forest, we would be preventing over 26,500 tonnes of CO2 emissions. These wonderful figures are before we even consider that hemp is fully biodegradable and could literally replace paper and cardboard, clothing and other textiles, plastics, building materials, and don't forget that hemp seeds are edible and incredibly nutritious. In the grand scheme of things, the UK is tiny compared to the rest of the world, so if every country did their bit and began cannabis farming, then we would see an incredible improvement to the planet. Now, if environmental concerns are not your thing for some strange reason, but money is, then let's talk about the economic impacts. Unsurprisingly, the UK currently imports far more tonnes of wood than we export. 70% of the total weight of the cannabis plant is made up of the hurd, which is the part that can be processed and used as wood. If the market value is comparable to wood, then this could instantly create an almost £23 million industry. Hemp seeds alone average at about £1 per pound of weight, so we could create over £17 million. But our ethanol production that we talked about earlier, based on market value of over £900 per tonne, we could be bringing in way over £8 billion. And if you're thinking, but what about the loss of money from exporting wood? It's like 1.7 billion, so hemp is already winning. And the taxman would be delighted with the additional revenue from both the sales and the employment tax from all these lovely new job vacancies. But that's not all. If we were to follow the growing list of countries that have been legalising or decriminalising all forms of cannabis, then guess what? This plant has even more to offer. Now, it's beyond the scope of this video to argue the reasons why cannabis is not the big, scary, dangerous drug that you were told it was in school. So for now, let's assume that the 20,000 scientific papers, articles and reports that have been published to illustrate the significant healing and therapeutic benefits are to be trusted. What we would save as a country in the criminal side of things would be estimated at over £500 million per year. This is money that is currently being spent on policing the cannabis ban. costs for the 1,363 people who are currently imprisoned in England and Wales due to cannabis-related offences, forensic expenditure, legal aid costs, Crown and Magistrates prosecution costs, and probation services. Then finally, we have the economic impact that cannabis could have on the National Health Service. This has been estimated at over £28 million and is made up of savings due to reduced prescriptions of pain medications, antidepressants, sleeping medications and anxiety medications. Plus, cannabis can prevent the costs associated with both heroin and alcohol addictions. And money aside, you cannot put a price on the lives of those that we lose every year due to alcohol abuse, overdoses, suicides, and, if you believe the science, deaths due to diseases and disorders such as cancer and epilepsy that could have been treated with cannabis. So, in conclusion, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with cannabis use on a recreational basis, it is incredibly difficult to dispute the actual facts and figures when you consider everything that the cannabis plant has to offer. Sadly, the government here are aware of the economic and environmental benefits, but for whatever reason, they are not implementing the changes necessary to make a big enough difference at this moment in time. I'd love to know what your opinions are, so feel free to leave a comment below for us all to see, and let me know if you've come across any other ways that cannabis could be put to work for us. I've also popped a couple of links in the description below, and you may like to check them out. Thank you for watching, and don't forget, if you want to see more, like and subscribe. Thank you.